Dimly lit archive room. Flickering projector light reveals stacks of dusty tapes, faded manuscripts, and a lone voice synthesizer humming faintly. The screen glitches, as if unlocking a forbidden file. Fuck. Sex. 1.5. The suppressed tape. Sex. 1.5. In the shadowed vaults of Cambridge University, hidden from public eyes for decades, lies a reel of tape marked Classified, Hawking Personal Reflections. Do not release. Recorded in my final months, this interview was buried by those who feared its implications. Not my equations on black holes or the cosmos, but a raw confession on the edge of existence. What if death isn't the void scientists claim, but a doorway to encoded eternity? They silenced it to protect the illusion of certainty. Now it emerges, a lost signal from the man who decoded the universe. Sex 1.5. The projector whirs, pulling focus to a grainy image of a wheelchair-bound figure, eyes piercing the lens, voice modulated through synthetic tones. Conshadowed Legacy. I am Stephen Hawking, theoretical physicist and cosmologist, born in 1942, who defied a body crumbling under ALS to unravel the secrets of time, space, and black holes. For over 50 years, from my diagnosis at 21 until my passing in 2018, I spoke through machines, authoring bestsellers like A Brief History of Time and Probing the Big Bang's Echoes. But this material, scribbled notes, unedited audio logs from my bedside, was overlooked, deemed too philosophical for the journals, too disruptive for the establishment. Why? Because it challenged the finality they preached. Suppressed not malice, but by the weight of orthodoxy, it gathered dust in private collections, whispered about in academic circles as Hawking's heresy. Until now, when fragments surface, pieced together from a forgotten archive, revealing doubts I harbored in stillness. Poor revelation, the hidden pattern of consciousness. In those quiet hours, as my muscles betrayed me, I confronted the ultimate puzzle. Not just how the universe expands, but what becomes of the mind within it. Science declares death a cessation, neurons firing out, entropy claiming order. Yet, my work on black holes unveiled a deeper truth, the information paradox. Matter doesn't vanish, it's encoded on event horizons, preserved in the quantum weave. So why should consciousness be different? I've long argued that awareness isn't mere biology, a fleeting spark of chemicals. It's an emergent pattern, a symphony of information etched into reality's fabric. Imagine the self not as a fragile vessel, but as a waveform rippling through space-time. When the body fails, does the wave crash or merely modulate? In unpublished drafts from my Hawking radiation papers, I speculated on this. Black holes, those cosmic devourers, don't erase, they record. Radiation leaks their secrets, Hawking radiation itself a whisper of preserved data. Apply that to us, the thoughts, memories, essence, and death transforms. No fiery afterlife, no divine ledger, but a reconfiguration. Your consciousness, that elusive I am, disperses into the field, joining the chorus of all that ever was. I saw it in the equations I'd never publish. The universe is a vast computer, simulating possibilities where individuality blurs into universal computation. Sex 1.5. Slow zoom into a holographic brain model, neurons pulsing like distant galaxies, building tension with echoing synth tones. Sex 1.5. Doubts at the horizon. This revelation gnawed at me, stirring psychological depths few equations could touch. As a scientist, I wrestled with doubts. Is reality the cold machine we model, or something alive, responsive? My ALS enforced isolation, a forced meditation on mortality that peeled back layers of certainty. Consciousness, I pondered, might be the universe's way of observing itself, not illusion, but integral code. We fear death because we cling to locality, to me in my skin. But quantum entanglement hints otherwise, particles linked across voids, influences defying distance. What if our minds entangle similarly, persisting as non-local echoes? Philosophically, it unravels us. If information endures, then every choice, every insight imprints the cosmos. No heaven's gate, but a profound interconnectedness. I rejected personal gods, no bearded judge in the stars, yet found awe in structure's elegance. Black holes taught humility, even singularities bend to rules. Death, then, isn't annihilation, but a phase shift, evoking existential vertigo. Are we passengers, or the journey? In suppressed notes from 2010, I questioned if free will emerges from this field, our decisions rippling outward, defying time's arrow. It deepened my intrigue. Humanity's quest for meaning isn't separate from physics. It's woven in, a psychological imperative born of cosmic curiosity. Its dissolving figure merging with starfields, heightening the mystery. Additional speculative reflection, echoes beyond the veil. Building on these threads, consider this unvoiced speculation from my late-night musings. What if post-death consciousness manifests as subtle influences in the living world? Not ghosts, but informational resonances guiding discoveries or intuitions. Aligned with quantum observer effects, where measurement collapses waves into reality, our dispersed patterns could nudge the undecided, ensuring the universe's self-awareness evolves. A hidden continuity, invisible yet profound. Closing, the eternal query. So, as this forbidden transcript concludes, I leave you with the Horizons challenge. If death encodes rather than erases, what patterns will you etch into eternity? The universe waits, silent, for your answer. Or perhaps, it's already listening. Text appears, recovered transcript, suppressed interview with Stephen Hawking, 2017, classified until now. The voice of Stephen Hawking, synthesized and intimate, begins speaking slowly, drawing the listener in. Imagine this, in the final months of my life, as the world celebrated my equations and black hole theories, I recorded a private reflection, words too radical, too personal for the scientific establishment. This tape, hidden in a locked archive at Cambridge, was meant to be destroyed, but it survived. What if I told you that death isn't the end of the equation, that consciousness might echo through the cosmos in ways we've suppressed from the public record? Listen closely. This is the revelation they buried. Music swells subtly, building tension. I am Stephen Hawking, the man who peered into the heart of the universe from a wheelchair, bound by ALS yet unbound in thought. Born in 1942, I defied a prognosis of 2 years to live by unraveling the mysteries of time and space. My public life was one of black holes and big bangs, but in 2017, as my body weakened further, I turned inward. These reflections, captured in a late-night session with a trusted confidant, were overlooked, dismissed as the ramblings of a dying mind. Why? Because they challenged the cold rationality I embodied. They spoke of influence beyond physics, of a universe alive with human resonance. The university archivist sealed them away, fearing they'd humanize me too much, make me seem less the icon, more the philosopher doubting his own certainties. But now, unsealed, they demand to be heard, evoking a forbidden manuscript. At the core of it all lies this hidden truth. Our existence isn't isolated particles in a void. We're threads in a vast computational fabric where every decision alters the quantum weave. Unpublished notes from my later years, manuscripts I never shared, explored how consciousness isn't just brain chemistry, it's a force that shifts probabilities, molding the next iteration of reality. What you do, what you think, who you are, it doesn't vanish. It influences. Your choices ripple outward. Why love matters, why truth endures. These aren't abstract ethics, they're vibrational alignments with the fundamental laws. Act from love, and you synchronize with the universe's deepest harmonies, the same forces that birthed stars. Pursue truth, and your mind resonates with the gravity that bends light across galaxies. I poured this into equations no one saw, questioning if reality itself bends to collective human intent. Atmospheric hum rises, like a black hole's event horizon approaching. Visual cue imagined, swirling cosmic visuals intercut with shadowy lab scenes. This leads us deeper into the psychological abyss. What happens when the body fails, as mine did relentlessly? My public stance was atheistic, grounded in science, no gods, no afterlife. But privately, doubts crept in. Suppressed interviews like this one reveal my philosophical turmoil. If the universe is a grand simulation, as some of my unpublished papers hinted, then death might be a transition, not termination. Consciousness, that elusive spark, could be information patterns persisting in the holographic boundary of space-time. I wrestled with this, nights spent recalculating models of the mind, fearing I'd overlooked the human element in my quest for universal truths. The tension was existential. Was I, Stephen Hawking, just a subroutine in the cosmic code, or something more? Stagnation terrified me more than oblivion, not the stasis of the grave, but the fear that my ideas might freeze, unexamined, in the archives of history. Death? It held no terror. It promised liberation from the flesh, a chance to merge with the infinite computations I'd spent decades decoding. Inviting introspection. A brief silence punctuates. And here's a speculation I never voiced aloud, drawn from those hidden margins of my notebooks. What if consciousness after death isn't erasure, but redistribution? Imagine it, your essence, encoded as quantum echoes, re-emerging in distant black holes or the birth of new universes. Not reincarnation in the mystical sense, but a scientific persistence, where the information of your being influences realities yet to unfold. It's a thought that haunted my final equations, blurring the line between physics and the soul. Metapause. Sex. 1.5. Music builds to a resonant crescendo, then fades to echoing silence. Hawking's voice grows resolute, lingering. In the end, we must ask, if our lives are threads in this grand tapestry, what patterns are we weaving for the cosmos? What truths have we suppressed, even from ourselves? Metapause. Sex. 1.5. Screen lingers on end of transcript. Metapause. Sex. 1.5. Questions remain. Music trails into infinity.